Yo, 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 it's your boy Sean Puff. I'm here with Mike K, and this is Smarks, Spot Monkeys, and Super Kicks Flashback Friday. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Happening, man.
Not much. Glad to have you here joining me for Flashback Friday. It's your first time here with me on Flashback Friday. We've done two so far. For any of you guys who have just tuning in and haven't watched any of the old episodes, the last week we kind of changed the format of what I did from the first week. So the first week what I did is I actually reviewed an entire show. It was like an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 15 minute, hour 30-minute episode. So I kind of wanted to make it smaller and condensed and easier to consume. So I switched it up to say, hey, we're just going to do a match. And I kind of took the whole idea that we did in Remember When, which we were doing on the show before, and I kind of just picked matches like that. I broke it into seasons. So this is our first season. This is the third episode of season one. As we move along, we're going to have different things. I got different ideas for things to do in future seasons. Basically, what's going to happen is we're going to have three seasons each calendar year. This season will end the end of August, and we'll go into season 2 for September, and I'll have a different theme. This is just kind of Remember When type of deal, when I just kind of pick things throughout history on the dates in that week, and we're going to relive those matches. And there'll be companion pieces to go along with this on GodHatesGeeks.com. So if you go to GodHatesGeeks.com, go to the Ringside Apostles, you're going to find today's show, but not the video format, a whole written review of the show that we're going to review this match from today. So you get to read that whole review, and then you can watch this or watch this and then go read the review of the rest of the show. However you choose to do it, but it's going to kind of all work together. Next season, I get an idea of how I'm going to do it. I think next season I might do Attitude Era.
Sounds cool. Good idea.
I figured we could do that. We could even do a whole season of WCW Ruins Everything with all ridiculously horrible matches from WCW history. Yeah. We'll go back and review those and rewatch that type of stuff. But it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of cool things that we're going to do with Flashback Friday. It's like a whole new thing. So it's going to evolve and become its own fun little thing. If you're watching this, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let me know about things in the future that you'd like to see us review, matches that you'd like to see us run down on Flashback Friday. I got a whole list of what we're going to do for this season. So this season should be a fun one. We started out, the first one I did was WWE at Maple Leaf Gardens. That was October 21st, 1984. We did that on the 15th of May. Last week was Big Show versus Brock Lesnar in a stretcher match at Judgment Day from March 18th, 2003. Today, we're going to go to HBK versus the British Bulldog for the WWE Championship and In Your House Beware a Dog Part 2. That was May the 28th, 1996. I'm not going to run down everything because I got a whole list of it all the way through August. We got the whole season figured out on what we're going to be reviewing. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. There's some matches and some shows that I'm really looking forward to as this season moves on. But let's talk about today. Beware of Dog, In Your House, Beware a Dog. This show happened March 26th originally, and then the 28th, because this was the show where they had all that type of technical difficulties at. You remember that?
Yeah, I think I remember that.
The first two matches aired originally on the pay-per-view, and then there were like crazy thunderstorms, and they lost power.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
They tried showing matches blacked out, but it just didn't really work because there weren't lights in the arena.
Right.
So they went back 2 days later, and on the 28th, they resumed the show and finished it. And this is kind of where they picked up from that. Right going into this match was the first match on the card, I believe, after that. And it's weird because, In Your House back then, they didn't do things that made sense. Things weren't really done in a specific order. This you would think would be the main event. Shawn Michaels defending the WWE Championship against British Bulldog. It seems like it was like the third match on the card.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. WWE back in the day didn't do things like
sensible.
Yeah, that's the way. Not that they really do them now, but
it's funny though. That's what makes Flashback Friday fun.
Yeah.
Because we bitch and we complain about all the shit WWE does today and how great it was back in the day. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to take you back in the day, and we're going to put out all the bullshit, all the ridiculousness, all the shit that didn't make any sense that WWE did then, 50-50 booking and all that nonsense. Watch me get into the old stuff. Go back and read my original Flashback Friday story on GodHatesGeeks.com. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really funny how they do stuff. 20-minute time limits, time limit draws. I want to say Chief Jay Strongbow lost a match to Axe, but it was before he was Axe, when he was like Super Invader or Super Destroyer or something.
Yeah, Super Invader.
He got cut like 2 weeks after he beat Chief Jay Strongbow.
Yeah.
50-50 booking back in the 80s. So it's gonna be fun to go back and review all this stuff and point out all this craziness and the shit that just you're like, wow, look at, they did that dumb shit then too.
Oh yeah.
So like I said, this show was one of those shows that had it had build, maybe more so because they had to cancel it and do it 2 days later. So we had to wait a little bit for the show to happen.
This was 96, so no one really probably no one, unless you were watching wrestling or really was like engaged in the show, you would have known it anyways. It was not like it was like, there's no social media then, so there's no internet then, so you had to you probably didn't even notice unless you.
I guess, but if you were following wrestling and you knew the pay-per-view was on the 26th, you know, it was live. It was live on the 26th. And so there were severe thunderstorms. The power went out during the event. There were 2 matches being shown on pay-per-view, and the rest of it was dark matches. Like, literally dark matches.
Yeah.
Because it was dark. So they rescheduled the televised event. It took place May 28th, 1996. So at first, it happened at the Florence Civic Center in Florence, South Carolina. And then 2 days later, they couldn't have it at the same place. It happened at the North Charleston Coliseum in North Charleston, South Carolina. So they changed venues and everything. So if you watch it, you could probably see a difference if you watch the first couple matches and then you watch the rest of it. You know what I mean? Because it was a different arena. I can't imagine it looked exactly the same. No matter how much
people in the crowd were totally different, probably.
Oh, I bet you had different people in the crowd.
So yeah, you watch people in the crowd, all of a sudden you're like, what happened to the guy who was in the second row?
Right?
That was just like yelling at so-and-so beforehand.
So on the network, when you watch this, there's no mention of the blackout. They kind of just they just put it together like it was one complete show. And it just kind of went. It was interesting. So the 2 matches that they had were Mark Merrow and Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And then they had a Caribbean strap match between Steve Austin and Savio Vega, and that's when the satellite went out. Before that, there was like a pre-show match. The Godwins took on the Smoking Guns. So that was the pre-show match, and then you had the first match. Then everything went to shit, and everything went black, and everything was dark matches from then on in.
Yeah.
So they kept doing all the matches. They did all the matches there for the live crowd, which is pretty crazy. They just
I mean, it's good for them. If you paid the money, I guess you probably wouldn't, unless they announced it, you wouldn't have known that the pay-per-view went out.
The power went out in the arena. It was dark in the arena. They had very little lighting.
Right, but I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I guess they probably wouldn't have known that but I wonder if they'd known it was done on. I wonder if people knew, even though the power went out in the building, that they weren't on pay-per-view, they weren't live on pay-per-view anymore.
I don't know. I wonder how that went. I wonder, people probably knew because people would call them. People called them and say, "Hey, what's going on?" The pay-per-view's not on anymore.
Oh, maybe, yeah. People
like, oh, what's going on here? We're watching it. It's just in the dark. There's no power.
Right here, yeah. It's a little darker, but whatever. We're seeing it.
But I don't know. 1996. People didn't really have cell phones like that then.
Not really.
Cell phones might have just been getting started in 96.
Right, not really. I mean, cell phones weren't really that big yet, and neither was obviously the internet wasn't around much, and so you wouldn't have really known unless you know, I mean, probably word probably got through and probably got word of mouth, but so at least good on them. They at least got to see the whole pay per view,
Yep.
even though I mean it would have been worse if they'd like canceled it, said oh we can't continue, and then they left, and then obviously they couldn't do it in the same arena again. So all those people that went are all like, what the hell? Now we don't get to watch it because now we got to move it to another state.
Yeah. Well, so what ended up happening was they actually everything came back on right before the main event. So that's why when you watch this on the network, the Shawn Michaels Bulldog match is the second match, because it was technically the second match because they happened on the day one, and the Tuesday makeup show picked up right afterwards.
Okay.
And they kind of just continued everything out. And obviously, they didn't do the matches that they recorded again because they're already recorded.
Right.
So interesting how it worked out. So the main event happens as the second match because it really happened. All the other matches happened in the dark. No one saw them. So, so if you're gonna watch along with us, you got to get your network set up. You're gonna go to WWE pay-per-views. You're gonna go to retired pay-per-views, or how it depends on where you're watching this. But you're gonna go to In Your House Beware a Dog. You can actually go to the bottom and find the match and bring it up to the match, and it'll start it up. We've got ours set at 23 minutes and 21 seconds. So that's where we're going to pick up from this. That's where we're going to go. If you guys haven't done a watch along with us before, I'll explain to you how this is going to go. I'm going to give us a countdown. 3, 2, 1, play. When I do so, we're all going to hit play. Let me make sure that my PlayStation controller tends to go out on me, and I'm watching it through my PlayStation. So I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, play. When I hit play, I'll hit play. Mike will hit play. You guys will hit play. And we're all going to be synced up at the same time, watching what's going on. We're going to commentate through this as it's going on. Mike's volume's on mute. Mine's really, really low, so you're not going to hear what's going on. We're not going to show the match because I don't own the copyright to it, and I don't feel like Vince shutting me down. But yeah, and we're going to talk about this match, and that'll be it. So if you need to go get yourself set up, pause this now, go do that. And then once you're set up at 23 minutes and 21 seconds, come back to the podcast, hit play, and we'll be able to get this thing going. All right, so you ready on your end?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready on my end. So we're going to get this going in countdown now. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, play, and then on play, we both hit play.
Got it.
So we're going to get this going in 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay.
And as you can see, they're still kind of in the dark. You can tell the lights just came back on, really.
Yeah. Here's Vincent the King. Here comes the Bulldog. His wife.
Diana Smith. Man, Diana Smith was kind of busted, huh?
Yeah, it's Owen right behind him.
Owen Hart. Kind of great that we're watching Owen Hart. Rest in peace, Owen Hart. Just after the anniversary of his passing, it was the 23rd.
Seriously.
Bulldog also passed this week, too. I want to say he might have been the 25th.
I think you're right. I think it is 25th.
So for us, we're watching this well before Saturday. You guys are going to see it before Friday, so you'll see this on Friday. It'll be the 29th when you're watching this or after.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm like, how did British Bulldog get into a world title shot for this match?
Because he's Bret Hart's brother-in-law.
I don't know if that's a good reason, but okay.
I mean, he's the whole family. I mean, he got a shot at it. They built him up pretty well at that point.
They did. They did kind of build him up. This was after he teamed with Lex Luger, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Because he's still got the gear. He's got that gear that he was doing with.
This is when they were a heel, though, right? When the Hearts. This is the heel part of the Hearts. So like Owen and the Bulldog and even Brett. They might have been heels then.
I think so, because you see Shawn Michaels now in the back, and he's with Jose Lothario, who was his trainer. And I feel like
and he was a
face at that time. Michael P.S. Hayes there as Doc Hendricks interviewing him. I think that's my favorite version of the WWE Championship that he's wearing there, the Winged Eagle.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one as well.
It's interesting that Beware the Dog, Bulldog's supposed to be in the main event, and it's the third match on now the second match on the show because of technical difficulties.
Such a terrible name for the new house.
But it was British Bulldog. It was kind of the whole point of it. I mean, at least it's better than when they did In Your House, It's Time, and then fired.
Oh, Shawn Michaels, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I don't know if that's gonna come out to something tonight. It's better than when they did It's Time and then fired Vader right before the show and put Sid in the spot.
True. Here comes Shawn Michaels. Yes, Shawn Michaels definitely the face.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, whenever he was with Jose Lothario, he was the face.
Yeah, he's got the fireworks in the ring. Gotta get out of the ring, guys. It's gonna go off. Yeah, he's like, now.
I always love that. They don't even go off right.
Nothing.
Nothing. They go off late. Like, oh, we messed that up. Sorry, we're just getting power back.
I miss fireworks for WWE. Pyro. They don't do it anymore.
And Vince just announced, like I said, I got the volume low on mine. Vince just announced that there'll be a encore presentation on Tuesday with the rest of the matches.
Right.
What a horrible image on the bottom, that whole doghouse thing that they just used. That was bad. Jesus.
Why did they just call it In Your House, Beware of the Bulldog? Wouldn't that be a better name than Beware of Dog?
Probably.
Beware the Bulldog.
Do you know that the second part of this was actually titled Beware of Dog 2?
Oh my God.
In Your House, Beware of Dog 2, the one that they did 2 days later. Which makes it even worse. They should have named it like In Your House, Beware of Thunderstorms.
Yeah. He's scared of the dark.
What's Clarence Mason doing out here?
No idea.
I'm going to turn this up for a second.
Is that his lawyer? Was he their attorney or something? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Have attempted to break up the very, very happy home of the British Bulldog and that precious little budding tulip.
Oh, so
Diana Smith.
So is this when Shawn Michaels was acting like he was hooking up with Diana Smith, or Diana Smith wanted to be?
The very essence of family values.
He was their attorney.
So when the Smiths came to me and they retained my services, I assured them that your actions would cease and desist.
So he's giving a cease and desist. I'm pretty sure Clarence Mason passed away.
In front of thousands and in front of the sold-out crowd here and the millions across America. You, sir,
Flashback Friday.
are hereby served with a summons as a defendant.
How many people are dead in this picture right now?
Attempted alienation of affection. You, sir, we will see in a court of law where justice is swift and hard.
Shawn Michaels served a subpoena, and obviously that's the bombshell.
So he's given a subpoena to go to court for this.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think he tears it up.
Yep. Looks like it. He's about to.
I believe he tears it up. Yep, right in front of everybody. I remember that.
And then Bulldog attacking him from behind.
Yes.
No, Clarence Mason isn't dead.
No.
No, he's 54 years old right now.
What about Jose Lothario?
He's dead.
Yeah.
I remember Jose Lothario passing away. For some reason, I thought Clarence Mason passed away, but he didn't. Oh, that was a weird little flip that Bulldog kind of went ahead way too early with. Michaels was just so athletic. Look at the stuff that he's doing.
Back then when he was young, he moved. Oh, went for sweet chin music. The
Bulldog to the outside.
Oh.
You know, I feel like it's one of those things. Shawn Michaels was that guy that could carry anybody in a match. Yeah. So you know it's going to be a good match just because Shawn Michaels is in it. But I mean, I'm still like, why is Bulldog here?
He was a good worker, though, Bulldog. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't terrible either.
He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great.
No, I mean, he was stiff. He was he's kind of.
Like that leg flip thing. You could just tell that, like, he went too much on that and didn't make it look as much like Shawn did it. You could go to jail for something like that, Jerry Lawler said. I don't know if you have any volume. I got a little volume here, so it's funny hearing.
I don't have the volume up. I'm just having it on mute.
Hilarious.
If you turn yours up, if you turn your volume up, it should be fine.
Mine's up a little bit, enough that I can hear it.
Yeah.
Earl Hebner, the referee in this one.
Yes. You screwed Brett, Earl. You screwed Brett.
Yeah, but this is before he screwed.
I know.
No, this is after he screwed Brett, right?
You're gonna screw Brett. You're gonna screw Brett.
No, this is after he screwed Brett because Shawn Michaels is the champion.
Yeah. So you screwed Brett, like I said.
Owen Hart, man. Kid just so crazy seeing him go so early.
I watched the documentary the other day.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to. I'll probably watch it later tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Pretty rough situation. Tough one. Fink! Another one.
Another one who's passed away.
Not with us anymore.
Recently, too. Very recently, Fink passed away.
It was a couple weeks ago. Or remember last week.
I was just listening to the Something to Wrestle episode with Bruce Pritchard about nails, and that was like that came out the week that he passed away.
Nails.
And like Bruce started crying on the episode. Not because of nails, although nails is enough to make you cry.
Oh, interesting pinning predicament here. Ooh.
Did you know that Nails got fired because he threatened Vince McMahon? He like slammed him on the ground over money.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's insecurity by Shawn Michaels, the pin of one. What's interesting too is that when you watch these old matches, and then you watch current matches, especially like AEW or WCW now, more AEW. The fact that like how much the WWE never really calls the match, like doesn't call the moves much.
Not really. Yeah, they're right. They don't really call. They
don't really call the moves. Like they call the action somewhat, but never really call like you don't hear calling things like insecurities. Like they'll say, "Oh, Michael Cole with an insecurity." No, it's always a kick to the back of the head. It has a name, Michael Cole. It's called insecurity. You know.
Well, that was this time period too. It was.
I'm talking about now. Even now, they still don't do that. I mean, back then they didn't either.
Michael Cole's an idiot, though.
True.
You can't compare Michael Cole to anything. Michael Cole's a moron.
Yeah. Like, could you
imagine? I miss the days of like Gorilla Monsoon because Gorilla Monsoon would just make stuff up.
Yeah. Him and Jesse the Body Ventura. Like, could you imagine Michael Cole calling a tope suicida?
I hate that Excalibur calls it tope suicida. I want to tope him in his face every time he does it.
Tope suicida.
Bulldog's got some stretch marks on his legs over there.
I didn't notice there. Oh,
maybe my TV is clearer than yours.
Miss Smith is looking a little concerned. Beat him up. He can do it. Somebody told her to start talking.
Yeah.
Because she was like just sitting there staring. They're like, say something, say something.
And she doesn't know what to say.
Right. Because she's like,
funny
beat him up.
because you'd think coming from a wrestling family, the wrestling family that she did, she'd have more understanding. But apparently she was not allowed to be a part of.
From a wrestling family that they would have like an idea of what's expected.
And how to say, like what to say when you're in a situation, even though she's not.
Power of the Bulldog. A great move. Power's out of that. She's happy. She's proud.
I guess for the 90s, she was cute.
Yeah. I mean, compared to what's in the audience behind them. Yikes.
Yikes.
Good back body drop. Hey, cameraman's in the camera.
There aren't many females in the crowd when you look, because now you got to be looking in the crowd.
They're all on the hard camera side. You can't see it. You can't see them all. A lot of kids, though. A lot more kids. Oh.
I wonder who they're yelling at, what they're screaming. They're chanting at somebody over there.
Bulldog with a handful of hair.
Somebody in Bulldog, like Owen maybe they were yelling at.
Yeah, yelling at Owen. Bulldog, ripping hair out of the roots.
Did Bulldog just tell them to
Look off? I believe so.
Bulldog was just like...
Yep, pretty much.
I saw what you were throwing there, Davey boy.
Yeah, this is after Brett was screwed. He turned the Hart family like heel. So it was Owen, Bulldog. Anvil was part of that a little bit.
I don't know if Anvil was here for this.
I don't know if he wasn't really around, but I think it was mostly those two. Maybe a third person that was part of that group. That was kind of a heel group besides Brett.
I think it was the Anvil for a little while, but I don't know if he was here at this time. I think he'd already left because he was there for a little bit and then he left.
Yeah. Slow the pace down. They weren't going very fast to begin with there.
Right? What? Slow the pace down. Why?
Didn't think it was going that fast there, Vince.
They're trying to bring it to a crawl. You know, they're like, listen. We need to crawl.
Yeah, you guys are going way too fast. Oh, Bulldog. Backbreaker.
You don't see that backbreaker often. I think that's the Argentina backbreaker, the Argentine backbreaker, right?
Yeah, you don't see very many backbreakers anymore. Don't see many things like torture racks and backbreakers, things like that.
But if you do, when you do, they put them in like the torture rack type.
Yeah.
Not this one.
Bulldog drop to your knees. You pretty much get a good move there. Oh, Michaels breaking out.
Nope, he just breaks out of it because, British Bulldog's not as strong as you would think he was.
Oh! Crucifix.
There you
go. Samoan drop. It's called a Samoan drop there, Vince. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't think he does.
That's a leg drop, Vince.
He's like, oh, a move. That was a move.
Pace got a little too fast there, so we had to slow it down again.
A lot of rest moves, a lot of holds, a lot of slow stuff for this. And this is their guy. Shawn Michaels is their guy.
Yeah.
And when you look at this era of WWE, it was known for being more explosive and more fast action, and now you get this. Doesn't make sense. Not what you're expecting, you know?
No. Beware of dog. Say something. There you go. Good job.
Say something. They're like, camera's on you again.
Yeah.
Camera's on you.
Say something.
The Slamming Award. Can you refer to him as the Slamming Award-winning Owen Hart?
Yeah. I think if I remember, a long time ago, but I think if I remember about this match, I believe at some point his wife gets involved.
I would assume so, no?
I think she
They were
does. I don't
heels.
remember.
It's kind of weird to see her playing a heel.
Yeah.
Like, usually when a wife is involved, they're the face. And you bring your wife in as a face, not as a heel. So this was kind of different by the WWE to do this and have...
True, yeah. You always bring... Yeah, it is weird because you don't really bring in the wives. Don't really come in to be, like... They come in as sympathetic figures, not as, like, heel figures.
Yeah. They're like, they come in and it's like, oh, well, look at what she did. You know, look what they did to her. Like,
Yeah.
Jake Roberts' wife when with the whole Rick Rude thing. And,
Right.
I mean, of course, there's certain situations where it's a little different, like Deborah McMichael.
Right.
Who was she Deborah McMichael first and then became Deborah Jarrett? That's how that went, right?
I think, yeah, she was... Oh, it was ugly.
Yeah, that was a botch.
It was a botch. Yeah,
that was a botch.
I believe it was. She was McMichael first because she was.
So she came in as the face with McMichael, and then turned on McMichael to turn with Jeff Jarrett, and then played out the whole thing, and then ended up with Stone Cold.
Right.
So she even came in under that same guise of,
right.
Hey, I'm a face.
She was a McMichael, then a Jarrett, then an Austin.
Yeah.
She's still with Austin?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
What was that? Yeah, that was a botch and a half.
Yeah, it's like he was supposed to hit him with a knee, but he just didn't. Like, he forgot about it and tried to get it up at the very last second.
Yeah, wrong knee there.
Oh, what a botch. The Bulldog and this Hart Foundation botching moves like crazy.
Yeah. The British botch dog.
British botch dog.
Yeah. Oh. See, the steel steps have come a long way. They're not blue anymore.
This is they just pointed out that they were working with Jim Cornette at the time.
Oh, all right. Get off him. Get to the ring. They can count. Not even counting there, Earl.
Right?
Good job. Oh.
HBK was just, he was ahead of his time for what he did.
What? Oh. Rough looking clothesline.
And, you know, he's going to kip up right now because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Especially as the face.
Rough looking springboard clothesline.
No kip up. I was definitely expecting a kip up right there.
Yeah, he's gonna do what he does is 5 moves of doom. Then then he gets.
Oh, that's when it comes in.
Right. Oh, double knockers.
Is it right here? Whenever they both fall down, you just expect, you're like, oh, but Shawn's gonna kip up.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, you know you want me. That's what. So it was. This wasn't Shawn saying it. This was. What was it? Deborah? Is that Deborah? What's her name?
Diane.
Diana Smith. Diana Hart.
Is that her name? Diana.
Yeah, Diana.
Diana Smith. Here it comes. Here's your kip up. It's always after the flying forearm. It's.
Yep, there it comes. There you go. Called down.
It's the duck, flying forearm, kip up. Then he does, there should be a power slam. then it's going to be an elbow drop. Well, actually, eventually it'll be the elbow drop, and then it'll be sweet chin music. Here it comes there. There'll be the flying elbow drop, and then they'll tune up the band. Once it gets out.
Is he gonna go back up for it again? No.
Not yet. That's always a precursor. Everyone always got on John Cena for his 5 moves of doom. It's like, man, everyone has 5 moves of doom, if you notice it.
I guess,
do.
but John Cena's 5 moves of doom are like his only 5 moves. He doesn't have
True.
any moves.
This is true. Like John Cena definitely had up.
Oh, there goes the ref. So here's where something's gonna happen. You called Diana getting involved. I'm sure it's happening right now.
Gets involved.
Owen will get involved.
I think
Maybe
if I
Jim Cornette
remember,
will come out.
I don't know if I do or not. If I remember or not, I believe Jose Lothario starts to kind of beat up Owen. Oh, here it comes. Up, elbow drop.
Oh, that was an ugly elbow. That was like one of the worst Shawn Michaels elbow drops I've ever seen.
That was usually his MO, and here you go. Now you tune up the band. Oh, Owen get in. Oh, with a broken wrist. Oh, sweet chin music by Owen. Owen's got a broken wrist or something. They have a broken hand.
Something like that.
The cast on. Oh, another ref came out.
You ever notice another ref comes out? Is he gonna get disqualified for it?
I don't believe so.
No, he just yells at him. And
I remember this one now.
I really don't.
I believe, if I remember it, I could be wrong. I believe both refs come in at one point. And, maybe that's
Shawn Michaels' shoulders were down.
Both of them were down. That's what it was. I knew something like that. And they restart the match or something because both shoulders are down. And so each ref saw something different. So
Well, they just called the match for Bulldog.
Yeah. But because he wasn't the ref, they're going to
And here comes Jim Cornette, who wasn't there the whole time.
Yep, see?
Hebner's going to come in. He's going to reverse this one and say that his...
because one ref saw Owens and saw Bulldog's shoulders down, and one ref saw Michaels.
Well, I mean, Michaels' shoulders were down. I wasn't paying attention to the Bulldog, but I definitely saw Shawn Michaels, both his shoulders were on the mat.
Right, they both were. But yeah, I remember this one now. Both refs saw something different. Another controversial ending. Vince McMahon loved controversial endings.
And Diana tries to just take off with the belt.
Yeah,
Who the hell are you? You don't even sign to the WWF.
You just take it off with the belt. It's like, I'm going to keep this belt now. It's mine. Look at her.
It's upside down. It's upside down, bimbo. Someone tell her.
It's upside down. So they keep showing up. Here comes Gorilla.
Oh, this is when Gorilla was the president?
I believe so. He was.
Yep, president of the World Wrestling Federation, Gorilla Monsoon. So he's going to come in and make a decision here. President,
in quotes, president. We all know it's really Vince, but president, Gorilla Monsoon.
Well, Vince isn't president.
I think he's going to. I think he makes. Does he? I'm pretty sure he restarts the match. After he makes the decision, Gorilla decides to restart the match.
Man, I really miss Gorilla Monsoon. He was one of those guys. Guy was a legend.
Right.
One of the reviews when we get to June 30th, we're gonna have the oldest that week in history is the oldest pay-per-view on the network, which was June 28th, I believe. Let me see if I can find the exact date here.
Boom. Both men's shoulders are down.
June 30th, 1973. It's the oldest show on the network. And I was going to do, I had a few options of matches to do. We're going to do, as of right now, Strongbow versus Fuji. But there was actually a match on that show with Gorilla Monsoon versus Lou Albano.
Oh, there you go. A draw. Therefore.
So they just called it a draw and didn't restart it?
Yeah, if I remember, and I could be wrong, but if I remember, I believe this starts Shawn Michaels' slow turn to a heel. Because he starts to then, like, they start playing off that he starts stealing victories and winning by, like, other ways other than just winning legit.
This was poor. Like, what kind of fuck finish is that? Talk about everyone's complaining about fuck finishes. This is a perfect match to watch right now. This was a fuck finish. So you have both guys' shoulders on the mat. Instead of the president restarting the match like he should have done, both guys' shoulder kind of moved.
No, it didn't. Oh.
I don't know if it came up, but he moved it. Jay Lawler says it came up. Shawn's didn't.
Oh. So you could see Earl Hebner.
And Hebner was counting on the other side, too.
Right. Which, like I said, I knew both guys. I remember this one, that both guys counted the finish.
This is horrible. Like, this was the finish? This was your main event on this show? A show that blacks out? You would think that you'd call an audible right now you would have called an audible at gorilla position and said, and then I backed out of it. As you saw, the arena definitely looked different right from then. You could see the difference in what happened. They even had different announcers.
Here comes Stone Cold.
Well, I already stopped it, so you can watch that if you want. But
the Ringmaster.
Man, what a shitty ass finish to that.
Yeah.
Like, that was supposed to be the main event of their show. Like, that was what it was all about. And we get that kind of finish. We get a fuck finish.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
WWE and that fuck finishes. It's been going on forever. People complain about it today. They complain about what happens on Raw. And the fuck finish is happening on Raw. This happened on a pay-per-view.
Right.
That was horrible. That was the worst finish ever. Like, I get it. I get that it was a cool finish if you restart that match. Not restarting that match, that was just pointless. That was stupid.
Yeah, smarter move would just restart the match. Gorilla Monsoon comes out, says, due to the fact that both guys were counted down,
we're going to restart this match right now.
Restart this match right now. And then just keep going.
But instead, 50-50 booking and fuck finishes made that happen the way that it did. And Shawn Michaels walks out of it with the belt on him still in a stupid pay-per-view. They should see. So here's the other thing you do in this situation. If that's me, I say, because we're going to have to do it again in 2 more days, and it ended like that, they should have fought again on the 28th at Beware Dog 2 in the main event 2 days later.
Yeah. Yep.
Why wouldn't you do that? Who booked this shit?
It's a great idea. You had a draw finish, so there's no winner. They'll restart it in 2 days.
Especially because you had to, you use the opportunity that you have there and restart the match in 2 days.
Right.
If you're not going to restart it right then.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
That was ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand at all why that was what it was. I don't get it.
I agree. Like I said before, if I remember, and I know it's been a long time, if I remember correctly, I believe this was like the beginning of Shawn Michaels' kind of slow turn to a heel, because I think he starts winning matches like that, like not in conventional ways. He starts winning matches like just almost like stealing wins, keep the belt. If I'm not mistaken, too, I think British Bulldog and Owen pretty much are phased out of the world title picture and goes from there, because eventually Shawn gets rid of Jose Lothario, and eventually it's the rise of Diesel and goes from there.
So here's some crazy shit that happened on this, just to run down some more. So that they went on with it and played more that weren't dark. We had Mark Merrow defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Actually, that was the first match that we saw on there. On the first night, Savio Vega defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was not Stone Cold at the time. He was the ringmaster. And then he went on to beat him again the second night. But interesting, the next match on the card saw Yokozuna defeating Vader in a singles match. But on the 2 days later, Vader defeated Yokozuna in that match.
Huh. About 50-50 booking.
Yeah, it's like 50-50 booking. You changed it on a match that was supposed to be the show, and you decided to change it 2 nights later when you redid it.
Right.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know. It looks like Jake Roberts versus Justin Bradshaw was cut from the show. And there were a couple other dark matches on there that just weren't scheduled to be seen anyway. So very interesting how they played that. It was a fuck finish. There's nothing more to say about it. It was a fuck finish.
Yeah.
It was stupid. I don't get it. I don't understand the point in what they did. I don't know why they would have done that. Fucking stupid shit. This is 1996, guys. 1996, and you complain about the way things are booked today. 1996, they were still doing this. They were doing this dumb shit back then, and you loved it. You loved the Attitude Era. You talk about the Attitude Era all the time and say you want it back. You want that back? You want double pin fuck finishes back? That's what we just had it in your house. Beware a dog. Holy shit!
This was kind of pre Attitude Era almost. Not quite. Like everyone talks about the Attitude Era being this long time. It's like no. Attitude Era was only about a 3-year-long stint before it kind of wasn't an attitude anymore.
I'm gonna Google it right now and see exactly when was the Attitude Era.
You gotta remember, like Stone Cold isn't Stone Cold yet. He's not Stone Cold at least till another. Actually, I believe it happens.
I guess you're right, because the Attitude Era didn't really start until it didn't start until Shawn Michaels pulled that promo when he had the sock in his pants.
Right.
And that he was already DX by then.
Right. DX doesn't even, we just watched this match against British Bulldog. DX doesn't exist yet. Stone Cold doesn't exist.
So Attitude Era didn't start until the next year, 1997. It was 1990. It's considered 1997 to 2002.
Right. So it's only and I wouldn't even consider 01 and 02 as part of that because.
But they do. So in one of our seasons, we're gonna do the Attitude Era. Maybe season 2, we'll do Attitude Era, and we'll just review a bunch of cool matches from the Attitude Era and shit matches from the Attitude Era and whatever.
Yeah.
So this was pre-Attitude Era. God, what was it before the Attitude Era? It was the Classic Era?
I guess, yeah. This was before. I mean, this is before WCW's taken off. Like, this is before the NWO exists. NWO doesn't exist yet, or is about to exist. Rise of Stone Cold isn't started yet. DX hasn't started yet. This is
this is why it was shit.
Right, just before they both took off. Like even the Monday Night Wars hadn't started yet. They don't really start till really end of '96, beginning of '97 when, Hall and Nash, they jump ship.
Yeah.
The NWO begins.
It's just crazy. Like this was just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I just the way that ended, I'm just still sitting here like what? Like they just did that in a main event on a pay-per-view, even though it ended up not being the main event, it was still the main event of the pay-per-view.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, when you watch it on the network, it's not the main event, but that was the main event. And it gave us a fuck finish.
Right. It's especially with all the technical problems you had on that show to begin with. Like you said, to not someone to say, maybe we shouldn't have this finish this time.
Yeah.
Or we need to change this up a little bit because of this whole technical thing.
After this, just to kind of tell you where we went after this show right here, the next pay-per-view saw the beginning of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The birth of Stone Cold happened after this.
King of the Ring.
King of the Ring, 1996, which was June 23rd. We covered that last year, so we won't be covering it again this year. We covered that on a regular Remember When. But yeah, so that happened next. Then we had International Incident happened after that. SummerSlam 98. That was Michaels versus Vader. Then In Your House Mind Games came from there. Smoking Guns defended the titles against Owen Hart and Bulldog and that. Then we had Buried Alive, Undertaker versus Mankind in a Buried Alive match. Survivor Series 96, where we got Rock, Jake Roberts, Barry Windham, and Mark Merrow against Triple H, Goldust, Crush, and Jerry Lawler. And then the year ended with In Your House, It's Time, with Psycho Sid defending against Bret Hart. So I think this was actually before Bret got screwed.
Right. Yeah, I think it was too.
It was all before all that.
Pretty sure the screwdriver was in 97.
I think so. I think you're right.
Right.
So, but it was an interesting match. If you want to watch if you want to find out about the rest of the show, go to GodHatesGeeks.com. You'll see the Flashback Friday post up, and I broke down the entire show for you and gave you reviews and gave you Bible scores and everything. I got an aura here from my background right now.
You do.
I move and it goes away. It's gonna be in the right spot and it'll go away. But I don't know. That was cool. It was fun. It was a fun match to watch. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun doing Flashback Fridays. Glad you joined me for this one. So next week on Flashback Friday, we're gonna go back to June the 3rd, 1991 in Madison Square Garden, Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter in a Desert Storm match. This match was never aired on regular television. It's on the network under WWE Old School. So you can go back and watch it before. I say, why would you do that when you can just watch it with us for the first time? It'll be our first time watching it. Again, that whole show will be reviewed on Flashback Friday on GodHatesGeeks.com. So that's going to be fun. I like that whole Sergeant Slaughter Hulk Hogan feud.
Yeah, that was good too.
It kind of just fit in for the time period when Sergeant Slaughter joins Iron Sheik and makes a huge, he was the American hero forever and makes this heel turn and ends up with Iraq. This was all during Operation Desert Storm. Actually, this was before Desert Storm, right? This was the first.
It was around the same time.
It was, what was the date of this? This was
91.
91, yeah. So this was like the first Desert.
Time.
Yeah, this was Desert Storm time.
Right.
So that's going to be fun to watch. Make sure you tune in with us for that. That will drop here Friday. Friday at midnight is where I'm trying to get all these to drop, Flashback Fridays. So you can watch it anytime after it drops on midnight, at midnight rather. Anything you want to say about that match before we get out of here?
No, I mean, it was what it was. It was 96, so.
50-50 booking and fuck finishes. Jesus Christ. What the hell? WWE
24 years later, we haven't done anything different.
Right? I'm saying. Nothing different. Still fuck finishes and 50-50 booking.
Yep.
But yeah, that's about it. That was Shawn Michaels versus British Bulldog at In Your House, Beware of Dog in 1996. It happened on June what was the date of that one?
May 26th.
May 28th.
Oh, excuse me, May 28th.
May 28th, 1996 is when that happened. So it was fun flashing back with you. We'll be back with you for another one next week. Until next time. Oh, and by the way, make sure you tune in for our regular Smarks, Spot Monkeys, and Super Kicks podcast. Of course, the podcast will drop on Saturday on the podcast network. If you want to see the video, it might drop earlier depending on when we record it. Love to get it done. If we can, I'd say we try to get it done Wednesday before the Wednesday Night Wars and drop it Thursday. I like to drop it Thursday at midnight. But we'll see how that goes. If not, it'll be up. They'll be up there on Saturday too. But look for our regular Smarks, Spot Monkeys, and Super Kicks podcast coming up this week. And then next week, again, Sergeant Slaughter versus Hulk Hogan in 1991, the 3rd of June, Madison Square Garden in a Desert Storm match. I have no freaking idea what a Desert Storm match is, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to see another fuck finish.
Probably.
Until then, I'm Sean Puff.
And I'm AK.
And this has been Smarks, Spot Monkeys, and Super Kicks presenting Flashback Friday. We're out of here. Peace out. Big ups, Boston.